This video covers the IGCSE Biology Objective 9.4.2 on the 2025 CAIE syllabus to identify red and white blood cells in diagrams and micrographs. So let's talk about the structure of red blood cells. First, you can take a look at the diagrams that are here. So the first thing to take note of is that mature red blood cells do not have a nucleus. We'll talk about what they have instead of a nucleus in just a minute, but the shape of the red blood cell is this biconcave disc shape. So you can see that the middle edges are curved inward, and that is where we come up with biconcave. So bi is 2, so it's both of the edges, and concave is curved in. So it has this disc-like shape. Now, instead of a nucleus, or the place where the nucleus would be, red blood cells contain hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein, and so in this visualization, you can see the protein structure combined with iron. And so in order to ensure that there is enough hemoglobin in the red blood cell, the nucleus is not there. And this is just an adaptation of the red blood cell. Red blood cells don't need a nucleus because the iron and the plasma, which is the liquid portion of blood, do all the work for the red blood cells. For the structure of white blood cells, we see something a little bit different. So we're just going to talk generally right now. So there are 5 types of white blood cells. Basically, they are round or ball-shaped. They all have nucleus, but as you can see, the nucleus can look different. So they only have one nucleus, despite the fact that it looks like perhaps more. But we call this a lobed nucleus, and you can see that in the neutrophil, the basophil, the monocytes, and the eosinophils. They all have this lobed nucleus. Some of these white blood cells also have these granules that are within the cytoplasm, and so that gives it that speckled characteristic. So now when we take a look at images of blood cells, we can look at the microscope, which is something that you probably will see on the left in the science lab. And when we look at that, we can see that the white blood cells are dyed purple, and you can see there are different types there. Some have lobes, some do not. And the red blood cells are red with a whitish center, and that is the biconcave area, which is so thin that the light from a light microscope is able to pass through it. So that's one image that you will see, both in textbook, in past paper questions, and under the microscope in our lessons. On the right, we have a photomicrograph. This is an electron microscope image, and you can see both the red blood cells there, the discs, the flattened discs, and a white blood cell there that has these things protruding from the surface of the cell. And so that's what you would see in an electron micrograph. So when we compare red blood cells to white blood cells, there are several characteristics that we can consider. So we have color, shape, nucleus, location, and concentration. So in a red blood cell, the color is red. In a white blood cell, the color is colorless. For the shape, a red blood cell has a biconcave disc shape, and the white blood cell is round or ball-shaped. There is no nucleus in a red blood cell, and there is a nucleus in any of the white blood cells. They just have different shapes to them. For the location, a red blood cell is only found inside blood vessels, and white blood cells are found in blood vessels and lymph vessels, which we'll get to a little bit later in the syllabus. As far as concentration, there's about 40 to 45% of the entire component of blood should contain red blood cells. If it gets too low, that can create a situation where someone becomes anemic. and white blood cells are about 1% or less. Now that percentage can increase when someone is sick or has some sort of immunocompromisation. That white blood cell percentage can get higher.